Hello, my name's Harris Bard for Pond Life Aquatics, and today I'm going to be showing you how I set up this Dennerle 55 litre Scaping Pro tank. Let's get started. So starting off, we are going to be using a Tetra Active Substrate. I had this bag left over from a previous scape I had done from a customer. I found it worked really nicely. We haven't had any severe algal blooms, particularly when we capped it off. So I decided to cap it with a mixture actually of two different kinds of black sand. I really like the contrast. It doesn't really show up that well on camera, but I think the different grains and textures, particularly in a substrate, really make a difference. Now, going in with our hardscape, I had these really gorgeous pieces of dragonstone left over from, again, a couple of other scapes, and I decided that I would go with them. Now, this is exciting. This is a company called Dymax, and they gave me this product at a recent conference to use, where they showed me that they can pretty much bind any two pieces of hardscape together much easier than previously. So the way it works is you stuff it between two different pieces of hardscape and then use this activating glue that they have, and you just literally put it in between and it sets rock solid. I will say that I did have some difficulty with the fumes coming off of it, but as you can see, it worked really well. Everything that you can see in the tank right now has a little bit of this media on it that I have then used the glue to set everything in place. As you can see, I did put a bit more of the substrate on top because I really liked the way it looked against the red of the dragonstone. Onto our first plant. This is Microsorum narrowleaf. We don't usually stock Tropica plants just because it's difficult for us to get them in, but we were lucky enough to meet the team from Tropica at the recent roadshow, and I was lucky enough to buy a few plants on them, and I'm happy to say that we're going to be stocking them all very soon. As you can see, I've prepped a plant and am placing them to see where I like them, and I'm going to start using some Seachem Flourish to attach it to the hardscape. Now this is one of my favorite plants ever. This is Rotala rotundifolia bloody red, and I have not used this in a few years, and I've never used the in vitro cups. So I was super excited to get a feel for how these work. I know it's kind of insane that I've never used in vitro cups while running a fish store, but we tend to get potted plants and then use them grown on. But I had a really good time using these pots, and I'll definitely be using them again. The thing I love so much about Rotala rotundifolia bloody red is literally its bloody red color. I think it is genuinely one of the most beautiful plants ever. You can see that I'm adding a little bit more water into the aquarium just to make the planting process a bit easier and a little bit less stressful on the plants. The idea with the rotundifolia is to frame the beautiful reds from the dragonstone and the wood, and hopefully over time we will just get this beautiful red framing around the hardscape. Now onto another fan favourite, my Chrysanthemum Monte Carlo. This was the first ever carpeting plant that I really gave a go to, and I just adore it. I've used it on hardscape to kind of give a flow down. I've used it for carpeting obviously, and I just adore it. Obviously this is the first time I've been using them from an in vitro cup, but I found them so easy to use, not having to remove the floss, and you can see I'm just going in my tweezers and placing them all around the foreground and some around the mid-ground of this tank. This aquarium is going to be viewed largely from two angles, so I am focusing around the corners of this scape. I'm gonna have to keep saying this, but another one of my favorite plants, Cryptocorin Wendetti Green. I don't do scapes without Cryptocorin, and I decided I was just going to use 2 of these specimens to place around the mid-ground to again help frame the hardscape. Now this one's a new one for me, Limnophilia sessiflora. I've never had the opportunity to work with this, I've read about it before, but when I saw that Tropica do them in these little coconut husk bunches, I had to give them the go to see how they coped. And I'm really glad to say that they are doing wonderfully. They're such a treat to work with, and I couldn't recommend them more. Now it's time for me to just use my Cobra to slowly fill this aquarium, and we'll wait to see the finished result. So this is it, the beginning of the finished scape. Obviously I'm super excited for all the plants to grow in, but even as a starting point, I think that this looks really quite lovely. It's more minimalist than a lot of the scapes that I do, which might give you an idea of the kind of jungly aquariums that I usually go for. It's a few days after the initial setup now, and I've just got this that recently came into stock in our shop. It is the new Dennerle Carbo Bio Style 120, which is a bio version of a CO2 injector, which doesn't have a solenoid valve. It gives 24 hours CO2 injection, but a low enough level so that it shouldn't gas your fish, but can give a low to medium level of CO2, so it can help benefit your plants in a healthy and happy way. So I'm going to set that up now, and I'll show you how it looks. So we're starting off with this metal cylinder, which I think looks quite clean. There is the biomedia, which is this green jelly pot, and a yeast sachet, which Dennerle provide with every purchase. These should last you about 40 days, and once they are in the cylinder and filled with tank water, they should start to produce CO2 in about 2 days. This is the CO2 diffuser that comes with the kit. You can see I'm just filling it up with water because it has a bubble counter which comes with it, and I'm just screwing it on and then attaching a CO2 safe airline and the suction cup that all comes with the kit, ready to be attached to the back of the tank near the filter. Now I just cut the airline, attach it to the metal cylinder, and place it behind the tank out of view, ready to start producing CO2 in the next 48 hours. So that's it, the full aquascape. I am really happy with how this turned out. It was a slightly impromptu aquascape. I usually like spending a little bit more time planning out exactly what plants I'm going to keep, but I was given an opportunity and I went for it. I'm really excited to see this grow in, particularly with the new Dennerle Bio Carbo Style. I think that if this is a solution for home CO2 brews that are a little bit more reliable than obvious home brews, and I think that's really exciting for the hobby. I'm super excited about Dymax's new products. I've not had that much fun scaping pieces of wood and rock together, ever. It's usually a bit of a pain, and it's usually quite daunting, and it's usually the thing that really puts me off aquascaping, honestly. And finally, I really enjoyed working with Tropica Plants. I've not really had the opportunity to use Tropica Plants as much. Honestly, they're as good as I remember, if not better. Just in a couple of days, they've grown in really lovely. I'm really excited to see how they come on. Once again, my name has been Harris Bard. I'm here for Pond Life Aquatics, and remember, support your local aquatics stores. I'll see you on the next one.